how are you doing? This is Pastor Cheryl. Um, I decided to do a couple of these videos this week. Um, just trying to get through the Bible here. Um, I would like to do Luke 15, the parable of the lost sheep. Now the tax collectors and the sinners were all gathering around to hear him. But the Pharisees and the teachers of the law muttered, "This man welcomes sinners and eats with them." Then Jesus told the parable. Suppose one of you has 100 sheep and loses one of them. Does he not leave the 99 in the open country and go after the lost sheep until he finds it? And when he finds it, he joyfully puts it on his shoulders and goes home. Then he calls his friends and his neighbors together and says, "Rejoice with me, I have found my lost sheep." I tell you that in the same way, there is more rejoicing in heaven over one sinner who repents than over 99 righteous persons who do not need to repent. Has anyone out there had sheep? You know what sheep are like? You say, well, they're real sweet. They're also not very bright. If they wander outside their pen, they'll follow the road and they get lost. They don't remember how to get back to, their home. They're not that smart. And so then you have to go after them and find them. So you have to be careful with sheep. They're also very expensive to raise. They need a lot of veterinary care. And so I think they're prone to skin infections, that sort of thing. Anyway, and in going after a lost sheep, I started thinking about a few years ago, about 8 years ago, I moved from Davenport into Rock Island, just across the river from Iowa to Illinois. I was raised in Illinois after all. And so anyway, I moved into a Spencer Towers, and I had my potluck, and at that time it was a Bible study in a large room that they had upstairs. And so every Sunday we would get prepared and we would have this potluck with a Bible study, and I'd bring up a stack of Bibles, different translations. It's good for them to see the different translations, And then I'd cook a main course and people would bring things. And over the winter, there was not much to do. Not much to do. After all, it was a big high rise for the elderly and disabled. And we had some low income there that were not elderly and disabled. So anyway, we had a variety, and they would show up and they really enjoyed themselves, especially the elderly. They said that they just don't have anything going on for them up there. There was nothing, and they really appreciated our ministry in there, except for this one woman. And from the sounds of it, she sounded like she was jealous because for years she had tried to get a potluck going in there and they wouldn't let her. A weekly potluck. And I just come along, and was a custom, our church custom, to do this. And they approved it, and so we'd get the keys for the lounge and we would do it up there. And so she used to complain endlessly about us, like we're singing too loud. Hey, it was really hard to get these people to sing at all. They sing under their breath and they hide, behind the hymnal, and they sing. And, people just don't want to sing. I don't understand it. And then now I have a group that likes to sing. My group likes to sing. So, but we had this one fellow that was kind of mysterious, noticeably gay. He would talk about strange stuff. We couldn't figure out what he was talking about. He would just mutter on and on about how people put things inside your body and whatever. And I'm like, what's going on here with this guy? And he was afraid to He would stand around this long table that we had with the food on it, and he was afraid to dish things up and put it on his plate. And he would manage to put a few things there and come and join us, and he'd visit with us. And he just didn't say a lot. And I don't remember his name. But he was sitting in the back, and I kind of wondered. Later on, I discovered he died. He died of AIDS. He had AIDS. We didn't know. None of us knew. That's why he was in there. He was sick. Couldn't work. He was sick. So we're talking about lost sheep. And then also the girl that was, discriminating against my church group, and still elderly and disabled, and then we added on a few people that were there that just thought that we were the greatest thing that ever happened to Spencer Towers. And they did say, I kept getting cornered there. Strange thing. And they would corner me and say, they don't like clergy people here. They don't like churches here. They don't like church activities here. And then they would tell me about some pastor that they ran off, and he would bring in people that would sing for everybody, and they would let him do that. And I thought, that's very odd. I kept hearing that. It's odd. Because it was, and they said, well, it's because it's federally, financed. And I'm like, we've got the Constitution. We have a right to assembly. And then we have another right, freedom of religion. 2 of them, right? We have two rights going there. And then people would say, well, we have the U.S. Constitution. And they would go, yep, that's right. So apparently some people felt that they had the right not to have church groups around them. Then there was another guy, a black preacher from a Baptist church downtown in East Moline. He had kind of a Bible study going on, but it turned into kind of a sermon, and it became a church for, some of the people that attended there. And he had a congregation of mostly black women. Women. Very few men. It's just all women. And so he and I had our heads together with that. And I said, what's going on with the management here and being anti-church? Talk about lost souls. When you live in a group, like a high-rise for the elderly, you meet them. You know who they are? The management. Yeah, the other people wanted us there. Because I kept getting told by some people there how grateful they were that we came and that I settled there and I was living there. They were grateful that I was there. And so I don't know what happened to those people as I moved out, because they didn't want a potluck with the Bible study. They said when they took me in, they didn't know I did that. I told them. I don't get it. But yeah, sheep will wander off. And they'll head on down the road or down the little path, or they'll follow some creek. And they don't know how to get home. So you have to go after them. They wander off. And some people are the same way. They just, wander off. And I don't know what happened to those. Some of those people that were in my congregation there passed away. They were elderly. One of them had cancer. I didn't know that. I didn't think it was that to that extent. And they put him in a nursing home and passed away. And he was my most devoted helper. He loved helping. And getting things on the dolly and rolling them down the hallway. All the food, and taking it to the next floor to have our potluck. He loved that. And so But yeah, we had a big group there. But anyway, think about that and think about lost sheep. Bye bye.